We are calling the Economic Development Advisory Committee meeting. So let's start with roll call.
President, how are you guys?
Oh, okay, he's just not showing it. Okay. Okay, Omar is present. So with that, we have quorum starting with citizen comments. Do we have any citizen comments? We don't?
Citizen comments.
Okay. So moving on to approval of the minutes. It's for February 15th, 2024. There was no quorum, so there's nothing. A.
hear you good now.
But can you hear us, Omar?
Yes, I can now.
Okay.
I couldn't respond earlier.
Okay,
I think we should move forward, as well.
so on that note, so there was a. Nominate Udall Dominguez for the chair position. And I'm not sure if we want to break it up into, you know, first running through the chair and then the vice chair, but that's gonna be my recommendation.
For vice chair, I would like to nominate Hazel Gonzalez as well for seniority. If you want.
Okay, so we continue on
Renee.
the floor. Now we can move on to voting, unless there's any other nominations.
We're gonna vote together, or we vote for individually.
And I'm gonna have them vote separately. So yeah, we will first vote on the chair position and then the vice chair.
Any
And
other
I would have
nominations on the floor?
Mr. Dominguez, is that something you would like to do? Be a chair? Okay.
Okay,
Then
so
we
on,
vote on it.
on that, unless I hear any other nominations. So with that not being heard,
Is this?
No, I'm
just
okay.
visiting.
no, just came by to see how everything is.
I
So on
know.
that, well, my motion is to make Arturo Dominguez the chair.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Yeah, second it.
Second?
Second.
Okay, there's a second by Mr.
Yeah.
Baldasso.
So with that, any
Vote.
discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, with that, none opposed, motion carries unanimously. On the vice chair, I actually wanted to nominate you.
That's why I nominated
Yeah.
Renee.
So.
He's not here?
No, he talked to me. He says, you know, there's nominations, he will be willing to do them.
Are you willing to accept it? Or is it like he's part of the vote or no?
So. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Bill?
There may be
This
another
is just-
Discussion, and then we can turn it into a motion. So we can first go through Hazel to see if there is, enough votes. Like, we'll turn it into a motion. If it fails, then we'll follow up with Mr. Baldasso.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be interested as well.
So there's two nominations for vice chair.
Yes,
for,
there's two.
Hazel
Renee
Gonzalez
and
and
Hazel.
Mr. Fernando Baldasso.
Do I hear any other nominations? So with that, since you nominated Hazel, do you want to turn that into a motion? And then we'll see how it goes. If it passes.
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll nominate Hazel for vice president.
okay. Do I hear a second? Second. With that being heard, all those in favor? Omar's in favor of Hazel. All those against? Okay. Are you abstaining?
Yeah, so.
Okay. So it fails. So on that, only Omar voted in favor of Hazel. So with that, my motion is to nominate Mr. Fernando Baldasso for vice chair. Do I hear a second? Second. All those in favor? Okay, so that's 4, and then Omar, are you in favor or against? In favor? Okay, unanimous.
Can we go down the list of who voted in favor and who voted against, please?
For Mr. Baldasso was
Just for the
unanimous.
record.
Yes, for, so,
Oh,
It
not
would-
unanimous because,
no, he
Omar-
voted for, Omar voted in favor of Mr. Baldasso.
Okay.
Motion.
Yeah. So with that, that motion passes, so congratulations to our chairs and vice chairs.
Thank you.
Unless there's any other discussion, moving on to, wait, do I now suddenly get replaced?
No, to the next meeting.
Okay.
Obviously, a whole installation ceremony.
It's like, here you go.
Motion to bring back item number, item 8, just to go over the list of who voted in favor and against for.
Unless we were to
Okay,
have
yeah.
a motion.
For the record.
So,
For the next
For
meeting.
fact, based on one sentence.
Not a big meeting.
okay, so a motion to bring back, do I hear a second? Second. Do we, can you do the motion, do I have to? Okay, so motion to bring back action item 8, so here's second, all those.
The root of our city is in the downtown. And redeveloping it into an area that is a place for even our own population to benefit from, to learn from, to enjoy, is a opportunity for our city. The redevelopment, that a healthy downtown in any other city adds to the general fund and pays for fire and police protection for the entire city. It will, anyway, it's a big benefit for every one of our 8 districts of the city. And I'm hoping that this committee will start to recognize the power of a redeveloped downtown in terms of dollars. Not just dollars, but, art, entertainment, a place to be, pride. Anyway, I'm hoping that we can start to focus on that.
No, and we do bring a lot of, or not a lot, but we do try to pass a lot of items that support downtown redevelopment. It's so much more important though, past this committee, that we work with the city on things that we pass, making sure they actually come to fruition. I've been made aware that we got approved, how long ago? Like 6 months ago? Yeah. Was a great thing that we finally were able to get done, and I heard a bar was cited using the wrong ordinance and basically made them close up their outside parklet and cited a COVID pandemic ordinance that was actually thrown out when we updated this. So I think it's important that the city make sure that things that actually pass are passed along to then, you know, the enforcement arm of the city, because there was an
Code
issue with that.
enforcement, yeah.
Yeah, code enforcement basically citing a dead ordinance that didn't exist. So we just need to make sure things we pass, we follow up with also.
And I do need to mention that, I think if that's the ordinance that I'm thinking of, it's not necessarily that it didn't exist, but it was a pilot program. And this committee took the initiative to make it a permanent ordinance, and those are some of the actions and initiatives that the advisory committee has taken, for downtown. And I do wanna mention, and I think, most of you have been involved in several meetings and initiatives for downtown. I think we can all agree that there's, a solid and genuine commitment from city managers, from departments to really start, you know, moving forward with the initiatives that are needed for downtown. There's a lot more that's going on and talks on some of the plans and projects that, we're considering. As far as this particular committee, the advisory, Economic Development Advisory Committee, yes, I do think, there has been a lot of, things worked on for downtown. I do wanna, remind the committee members that each and every one of you represent your own district. And it is our hope that this committee can also take into account the importance of downtown, yes. Will eventually, help downtown, industrial, Central Laredo, South Laredo. And I will elaborate a little bit more once we move on to, the other, agenda items that we have on the, for discussion. But yes, thank you so much for your commitment and for your recommendations.
Yeah.
I do foresee that there's gonna be items on downtown, quite, often, as things and projects and initiatives continue to move forward at the city.
If I can,
So I'm a trade guy, but I had the pleasure in meeting Jeff Specs, the Walkable City. And I think something that I captured that it's embedded to my head is our city. So whatever it looks like, that's what the impression of people have of our city. And it's not everything. I mean, trade is the most important thing, but right now. But it is important that we do something with this, with the downtown area. I really think that the city should take the first step. I mean, they push us for us to do something with downtown, and you all have to rely, but I think they have to do something as well. They have to take the first step. I know they're doing all the plumbings or whatever underground thing.
some, not all.
Yeah.
There's a lot, there's still,
Is that through grants or something like that? Not really.
I wouldn't know, and I can find out, but, I think it is a combination, maybe some bond money.
Because I mean, everything that billions and billions of dollars in just that investment that in the infrastructure that we need to move trailers around. But I mean, we need to do something in all the areas and all the districts and everything that we do in this town. But I think it's important that we work with downtown and kind of
Like
the
it's-
first push, like I mentioned to the city manager, if they would paint the stores in just at least content in some type of colors of Mercado, something just different, something to push the people to start leasing or buying or whatever, just something. And I mean, it's gonna have to start with the city in order for people to start moving up. That building, the Franco building that they painted, it has the yellow, like the Mercado yellow, and looks real nice. I mean, but that's only one building. I think I agree with doing something with downtown because it's not that great either.
I I'm glad that you met Jeff Speck, and I'm not sure if you read his book. It's a, phenomenal book, and the Viva Laredo Comprehensive Plan brought number 6 in our binder that the economic development strategy was created by a group, Mr. Angelou that came in, who also is he's a world traveler. It's a international company, and his ideas and the people that he brought with him, when they saw our downtown, they looked around, flabbergasted of sorts, saying, you all have the bones, you have the opportunity, you have a uniqueness with 2 international bridges coming into not just our city, but our nation. The opportunity is there for the taking. And it's not just one district, it's the entire city. It's not just the city, it's the region. And we're within driving distance of millions and millions of people that are looking for something fun to do or see.
Was a Sam's versus apartment complex. That was, to me, was interesting. Which one pays more taxes?
Well, that was,
that was an item.
that
Hayes
wasn't
versus
Mr.
Consumers, yeah.
That wasn't Mr. Angelou, that was,
Just fine.
no, that was,
That
Joe
was-
Minicozy.
Oh,
Joe Minicozy
Really?
from North Carolina, or South Carolina.
At the college, no?
Yeah,
Yes.
Joe Minicozy's been here at least 3 times. And he says, yes, he was at the college one time.
It was at college,
Yeah.
yeah. Because
And
I
he-
remember it was at the college, and I remember it was the last name, and I thought it was
Well,
D'Angelo, but
yeah, yes.
it was Minicozy.
But
There's
they
a
were,
video, I'll send-
they were here at
I'll send it to the
the,
committee.
at the same time, and
It's very interesting.
And he shows how supporting downtown will enhance the economic health of the city, which is what this committee, I think, is connected to.
Hello, can I comment real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm also new here, but I wanted to make a few comments. First, I wanted to ask a question. The Central Improvement District, what are the boundaries, and can it be expanded, is my first question. Secondly, to y'all's point, as much as I travel as well, I have a lot of outside knowledge I can bring here too, but I think downtown Laredo, I've talked to Julian and many other people about this, that we really had the opportunity for the 3 T's. The 3 T's are tacos, tiendas, and tequila, to really celebrate Mexico in Laredo, where, like you guys used to do in Nuevo Laredo. So bringing that concept to downtown Laredo is probably the forefront of what we should be doing, is to celebrate Mexico in America. And I think this is the right place to do it. So there's some commentary I can have later, maybe in person with y'all, but that's something we've been kind of talking about on the side, and there's a lot of ways to accomplish that. But I just wanted to bring that up to you. I think that be a committee to also really promote the fact that we have the best Mexican food in America. Instead of saying come to Laredo to shop, should we come to Laredo to eat Mexican food? And that's another draw we have that we don't really embellish enough. Anyways, that's my comment.
So Omar, to answer your question, I do have the boundaries somewhere in my email, so I'll forward that off to you. And regarding if a business improvement district boundary can be expanded, petition, but from everything I hear, there are currently no plans on expanding these. They haven't even got into a service plan, so I think once a service plan and that ball starts rolling, that's something that can possibly get entertained.
Okay, thank you.
Let me
Yes,
comment.
go ahead.
Just an observation today. There was supposed to be a historic meeting today. It didn't happen because there was no quorum. The council is not appointing people to that historic committee. So today we had a man that has a building downtown. He wants to put condos in it, and he's trying to get approval. But he's from California. He goes to the meeting. There's no quorum. Now he's trying to get back to how am I going to do this to get approval. There were like 3 people over there that had projects for the, specifically for the downtown area with no quorum. So that's a headache in itself, right? Couple of things. One would be if there's any way that we can remove the historic district and create it to where it's a case-by-case situation, you know, so everything gets checked for historic. You're not getting rid of historic, you're actually making it stricter because now everybody has to go through the, is it historic or not, across the board, all over the city. But to do that, and then maybe even get rid of the historic board, because they're not meeting.
If I may, we cannot discuss any items.
Yeah.
I know,
on the
that's
agenda.
just a comment,
But
not
this
for
is just something
response.
that by all means can be
Yeah.
added to the next meeting agenda.
Yeah, that was just a comment, no
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah, because we're trying to accomplish something to improve downtown, and people that wanna do that, they're getting roadblocks, not getting things done, so.
You know, that is the biggest,
That
to
is-
not go into that, the saddest truth is there's a lot of people that wanna do stuff, and they keep getting roadblocks not, just the way our codes are laid out. So Recode is stalled completely out. That completely affects downtown redevelopment. There's Recode for new development, and then there's Recode for existing developed areas. And somehow the existing developed areas, which includes the downtown, has been stalled out. So there's a lot of things that are hurting, even if the demand was there, us as the city are not allowing it, essentially. Call, what to do, where to submit, like they specialize in, you know, development in New York City. Yeah, so here, that could totally exist. For example, something like the Business Improvement District can completely fund a position that is an expediter for all things downtown. You're opening up a restaurant, you're opening up a bar, you're redeveloping condos. You know, it's just an employee that's strict purpose is to not only do they understand the code, so they can, you know, move projects a lot faster because, you know, even myself, I've done projects here in Laredo, and I would say probably out of the complete construction process, 20% of the time is, you know, getting stuck somewhere and having to figure out how to get around it, and we all know time is money.
Our department for economic development department is precisely having a division that can, and we do have a downtown redevelopment coordinator that can certainly work
We do?
alongside we have the position approved. We haven't been able to fill it because of the restrictions that we have that we're already working on as far as space is concerned for our office. But my point being is, though all those comments and concerns are being taken into account by city manager's office, he has all the intention of creating this new division that's gonna make sure that there's a liaison that can be the conduit, you know, for this type of, and not necessarily, more than anything, you know, guiding, investors. This type of, development, so.
Is that position already open? Can people apply?
Not yet,
Not yet.
but we are hoping that, hopefully by the end of this year or starting next fiscal year, that's a position that we can fill out along with the business development, administrator, which will be the, kind of like the manager for that division, having to do with permitting processes and just, you know, being the liaison for assisting.
Problem. But Recode was supposed to solve that, but it's completely stalled out.
And the historical society, or what is it?
It's the historic and oh my god, I forgot the.
But they don't talk to each other, no, I guess they don't talk to each other.
Well, Recode is a completely different thing,
Yeah,
but
I see.
specific to the historic, it's not a very active board, and it only meets when an issue comes up. And
But it's
so-
for the downtown, for that,
That's correct, for the historic
For
district,
this-
they're
the ones
enforcement.
that we're discussing, they're involved also. But there's like 20 rules, or how many rules do the downtown people have? I mean, they have to deal with the historic, the code, and
I guess my point is I was piggybacking your all's discussion that you're trying to promote downtown, and I just physically went to a meeting that had to be, you know, canceled because downtown. I know that because it just came.
But does that commission have authority to stop something?
So that was the
The
question,
design.
to see if they can put it on city council, just to kind of move
Well,
forward.
the question is, do they? Do they have authority to
they,
make decisions?
I think they have authority for
They do.
the outside.
But
And
it
I
is
think
redevelopment opportunities, I
And I
would say
think
it
it
does
does
fall
because,
into
and
it.
I'm sorry, but there wasn't a signing for citizens' comments either to talk about any specific items, so I just want the committee to make sure that we follow guidelines for.
I'm sorry.
If we could get back to action item B. To your point, and yours, and also this, what was it on 6, the Viva Laredo economic strategy that you know, it certainly talks about trade, and there is a bit of downtown, but one of the, can I make a motion on this?
Mhm. It says discussion of possible action.
One of the establish the parking committee that was created, and parking, whether it's real or imagined. So all, and a business incentives from the Economic Development Department to open. They opened, right before they opened, they were closed because of parking issues. It was complicated, that it was confusing,
Cafe Radical?
whatever it was.
Cafe Radical.
It was an inspired entrepreneurs that wanted to open up. They put their heart and soul, they painted themselves, they remodeled, they were ready to open
Never.
the next, and then they did open, but they had to go through
3-4 months later.
meetings and all kinds of stuff at the last minute, when somebody came in and said you can't open, connected to redevelopment opportunities. And if we could get that committee recommend, I know we can't do it, but if we could recommend as an economic development advisory committee, that would start to help coordinate efforts so that people know what's happening. We could start with that committee that was already developed, but it's no longer it's no longer meeting. I don't know how to say it.
My recommendation would be to add an item for next meeting agenda, more specific to, actually taking recommendations by this committee on downtown redevelopment opportunities and specify what areas we wanna discuss as a committee and propose.
So, but it says possible action, and so I could make a motion to I would make a motion that this committee recommends that the downtown parking committee gets reestablished.
With, how the item is.
Redevelopment
If,
opportunities.
if it said, and any other items,
Incident
there too, then it could have, yes.
Right, so you're saying that the parking does not connect to redevelopment opportunities?
You're saying committee, so redevelopment.
That will make a decision.
That we bring the item to the next meeting and to where we specify all the items and areas that you as a committee want to discuss, including parking, incentives, or what, any other areas that might be for the purposes of the motion right now on this particular item. And obviously I cannot make a motion, but it'll have to be a motion particular to one committee in taking action on establishing one committee.
It's not establishing, it's recommending that it meets again, that it's not establishing it, it's not creating anything. And my motion can die if it doesn't, but the motion is connected to redevelopment opportunities. And if nobody votes for it, that's fine. But
My
I
recommendation
wanna
is-
vote for it, that's why I'm frustrated,
But
but
specify and list all of the different areas, departments that have to do with the redevelopment opportunities for downtown central business. So that we can take-
okay, look, she's asking to make a motion, that's her motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion? If none. Omar, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't see if you raised your hand. So all those in favor, there was two. Against?
I don't understand. For me to understand it better, but I couldn't, so. You know, so what, yes. So it fails, right?
Yeah.
We move to the second item, to the next
did you
item.
vote for or against?
Am I allowed to vote against?
You're allowed to vote.
I thought
Or
we can't
against.
vote. I'm confused.
On the table and all
Okay.
committee members are allowed to
Well,
vote for.
then I would vote for it. If there's no issue and we take action, then I would vote for it. So that's 3-4. 3-4 to Omar. Were you against?
No, I was for it. I just didn't know my
Okay.
camera was not on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So motion passes. So with that, if there's nothing else on item B, moving on to presentation item.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jaime Ortiz. I'm with Economic Development in the Grants Division. In your binders, I did add a list of grants that have been submitted this past year.
Last year,
In 2023.
okay.
I started by adding the ORLAP grant with Texas Park and Wildlife. Right now it's in the environmental analysis part of the ward selection. It hasn't been officially, our project hasn't been officially selected, but that's one of the requirements to have the environmental analysis completed. Grant that is to fund the beautification. We also applied for SMART grants, and in connection with the SMART grant, the reductions of truck emissions at port facilities grant, each for $2 million. Both grants are to implement new infrastructure at major intersections to improve flow of traffic in the area. This in the Mines Road area. We also applied for the recreational trails program, also with Texas Parks and Wildlife. This is to help fund a 0.6 mile trail. This is phase one of a three-phase project. In overall, the We also recently just submitted our race grant application. This is an 8.1 million application, a grant application for the planning of River Road. Alleviate some of the traffic that is on Mines Road. Some of the ongoing grants that we are looking into applying is the Economic Adjustment Assistance Program from the EDA. For strategic grants and implementation grants. The strategic plans is to update or refine the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, or the SEDS, and the implementation grant is just to support the execution of the activities identified in the SEDS. And rehabilitation. Also, we are looking into the Bridge Investment Program. This is a minimum award grant of 3.5 million. For this project, we are waiting on a report from USDOT, or TxDOT actually. They did inspections of bridges here in Laredo, so we are waiting on those reports to see what project would mostly align with the grant eligible activities. We are also looking for into the local parts grant. This one opens up in May. It's just in general parks. We are meeting with several of the city departments into the possibility of looking into the expansion of Independent Hills Park. The master plan is still being worked on, and like I said, it opens up in May, and the maximum award is 1.5 million.
Thank you, Chairman. We just wanted to give the committee a brief report on some of the grants that our department works on. And these are just a few of the grants that thank you for your report. I do want to point out that the Economic Adjustment Assistance Program, that's through the Economic Development Administration, so we're hoping that we can submit an application to get funded for the creation of an economic development strategy plan for the department.
How long have you been doing this?
Here with this department, I've been here for almost 4 or 5 months.
4 or 5
Months.
months.
So that's that's very impressive. Thank you for putting it on.
Some of those grants had already started by the time Jaime joined us, but I think it's important as well that we let the committee know of the other activities that go on within our department and some of the projects that we're also being involved with.
Do any of these you think you have a good shot at them?
It's very hard to tell.
They're very competitive
They're very
because they're if it's in a federal agency, I mean everybody can apply, so they're very competitive.
One of the biggest challenges that we have, and I know Mr. Dominguez knows this as well, is a lot of these grants also are very they're formula based, and a lot of them go by population. So a lot of times there's other factors that our border, and every border city has some of those challenges. They go by population without taking into account all the traffic that crosses through our border and whatnot. So many times that's what makes them even more competitive when you're talking about cities like Dallas and El Paso and whatnot. But we did want to give you an update on some of the grants that we.
Some of them are combined between a city and TxDOT.
And municipalities, yeah.
Municipalities that have to be together. I mean, I know they're a little bit,
Yes.
it's not just apply for a grant, it has to meet the requirement. It's,
Yeah, because these are big. This is big money.
Yes.
These are big. I mean, that would change our neighborhoods.
Date on the small business grant and buy down program.
Yes, so very quickly, wanted to let the committee know, yesterday we made the official announcement of
Yes,
the,
sir.
yes, the grants and the 0% small business loan program. Applications will open on Monday, March the 13th, and they will close on April the 5th, and we will be sending you the QR code and the final flyer, in case you can also help us promote it. The small business grant program can award up to $5,000 for small businesses. The loan program, businesses may qualify for up to $50,000 with a 0% interest, so the program pretty much buys an update on how applications are going within the next 3 months.
It opens on Monday for
It opens
application.
It opened last Monday, right?
It opens this coming Monday.
Oh, this coming Monday.
And when does it close?
For the grant program, it closes on April the 5th. And then the loan program, until we deplete the funds, because pretty much the money that was allocated to buy the interest, it's hard to tell when we will deplete it.
What's the total allocation for the
So-
grant and the?
So for the small business loan, we allocated 500,000. And of course, we partnered up with Live Fund, so there are some administrative fees as well involved, and 500,000 for the 0% loan program as well.
Awesome.
And then we'll open on the 18th
On the 18th,
of March, that'll be
yes,
next Monday.
the 18th.
And we'll close on the 5th
April
of
5th.
April.
For the grants program,
And then you'll send us the link so we can promote it. Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Is it as complicated as the, when
PPP.
community development had the facade improvement?
I wouldn't be able to tell because I'm not very familiar with the requirements for the facade improvement, but I will tell you that this particular program is the third year that we launched it. It's been very successful. And there's just an application that they need to fill out with our partner, with Live Fund. And there are just, financials and
It's gonna be held at,
The actual summit's gonna be April 24th, and it's gonna be at Laredo College
Okay.
in their
Those
conference. I'm not sure what it is.
at the
Falcon.
Falcon. Don't see it, Falcon.
Yes.
Falcon Room.
okay.
But we're
Okay.
we're
Where the
still
library
working on
It's
the.
for the,
Where the library is. It's in.
is that
you are
in Red College?
At the Laredo College. Where
The old one over the bridge?
Mhm.
Yes.
Where the library, you probably know where it's at, well, the front part or the back part is where they added those
Yes.
nice rooms, the Falcon brand.
They usually have political debates there as well, right?
I think I've never been to one of those. Yeah. But yeah, so we're finalizing the agenda for that, but we're gonna start just getting invites out so we can start there, and making sure everyone is aware of those dates. But that is the update that I have for the Downtown Summit.
Okay.
With that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody. Hope you
Thank
feel
you
better
all.
soon.
Thank you.